So let's look into it. The Standard is calling it a tax bill rebellion. And we've seen that in Parliament, and it's interesting because across the National Assembly and the Senate, there have been certain things that are coming up. But we know that at the end of the day, the National Assembly is then responsible for legislation. And this is one of the big ones, that whether this finance bill will become Finance Act, and that will then spur things on. July 1st is coming real quick. But that in the House yesterday, there was speaker after speaker, well, not the speaker, but, members of parliament who came out very clearly to say certain things cannot go. They've been called punitive taxes. They're accusing the finance bill, or rather the Treasury, of bearing higher costs in technical taxes, pushing the bill through parliament without adequate scrutiny. Let's go overall before we go into the details that there seems to be quite some dissatisfaction, and when it comes to legislatively, members of parliament seem to be showing their teeth now where it comes to, we will reject this if you don't fix this. So it's not throw it out, it's fix this. Where does it sit with you as the leader, as the deputy minority leader, of course leading in some of these debates? Where is that?
Yeah, thank you. Now, first and foremost, maybe we need to look at Kenya from the history. And, we've had very contentious bills, brought to this house by this current regime. So unlike previous years, the scrutiny has become more thorough. Because from 2023, when they really burdened Kenyans, it has forced us to be, to look more critically at it, whatever proposals they bring to the house. And you remember 2024 when the same regime brought some, very punitive tax measures. And what happened is that members of parliament, in their usual, laissez-faire and relaxed manner, insisted on passing them, even despite our objections, because they say let the minority have their say, but the majority have their way. So they had their way. Unfortunately, and this is one of the things that I keep asking members to be wary of, when Kenyans in their numbers went to the streets and said, now enough is enough, we're not allowing parliament to be the one that is holding brief for us, because under Article 1 they can take over their rights. The same president who had been pushing that agenda, withdrew it in full glare of media, and the same members who had been the ones fighting us and passing it stood up to cheer him. And I said, what a contradiction. What a problem we have as a country. When will members of parliament stand up to be counted? Now, and there's some things I even want to get out of the table early. See, the other day when I was making my contribution, I think I must have touched a raw nerve.
Is it?
Because when I started my contribution, I said they are draconian. I said the bills are punitive. And I think that when I said they are, a knee on the neck of Kenyans, so Kenyans can't breathe, I think now that one, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. So they decided that the honorable member for Kadhiani will not speak.
Yes.
Now, you see, in parliamentary debate, the bills go through 3 steps. The first one is what we call the first reading, where the clerk just reads the bill and says this is a bill of an act of parliament meant to do 1, 2, 3, and then that's it. Then the second reading, where now members will debate. Having gone through the bill, now you debate. What are your views about whatever is contained in the bill. Now, every member has an opportunity. You'll be given maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Sometimes we shorten the time to even 3 minutes. But everybody gets the opportunity to make a contribution. Now, at the end of that, and you see, there are those that will be proposing, and there are those that will be opposing. I mean, even debates in schools are simply done the same way. But you see now, what they decided is that they'll make it impossible for us to be able to contribute, and the easiest way is to interrupt constantly, which is even against our standing orders. But you see, when the person presiding over the assembly at that time is leaning towards one of the sides, clearly you can see in the actions that they will take. So constant interruptions are allowed when I was speaking. And therefore, that meant that they are eating into my time.
Right.
I have 10 points I want to address. If you take half my time, then I'll end up addressing 2 or 3.
And on the record, which is the Hansard, on the record, it would be that, well, you only brought out 2 issues.
Yes.
And so those are not substantive
Yes,
enough to move a particular motion. Is that what we're saying?
And to let people know why am I opposing the bill? Because a student said I am opposing it.
Okay.
So if you constantly interrupt me, it means I don't have the time to articulate what I would like to. And therefore, what I had planned to say will not be said. But what they will do is this. They will stand up and, like what the majority leader did, is say, you tell us a clause. Now, I want you to understand this. This bill, the finance bill, is 124 pages. It is, and you can imagine if some of the pages have like 5-10 paragraphs. So we are talking almost 1,000 paragraphs. But over and above that, note this, that the finance bill is never read alone. You read the finance bill against the Tax Procedures Act. You read it against the VAT Act. You read it against the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act. You read it, there are other acts of parliament that are being amended. You see, the finance bill is a conglomerate that puts them together and brings tax measures for the country for that period of time. So it has a lot of other laws. So for you to start quoting a clause, you would have to pull out the other acts, and then it will take you time. If you have a 124-page document, I mean, unless you are still a student in class. And this is not like the Constitution. See, the Constitution is a document that you interact with all the time. So I can quickly just quote that this article is found here. But this is a law that is not easy. It's not like any other law. So because it keeps changing, it keeps shifting every year. So for someone to tell you, quote the clause that says that, it means that if you start looking for that clause, your time is running. So you say quickly, no, let me withdraw this so that I can prosecute my matter. And then they quickly, and I'm very happy because they quickly pick that and say, oh, the honorable member was lying. Yet what I said is that there is taxation on mitumba. It is there in the bill. It is there in the bill. And then they proceed further, excuse me, they proceed further to even explain it. The chair of the committee explained it. The leader of majority explained it. The people that are in that industry went before the committee to give their grievances and their complaints and to ask for the favor they were seeking. And somebody says, no, tell us. And they will run around saying, no, this team is lying. The people who are cheating Kenyans is the Kenya Kwanza regime.